You have looked in the mirror recently and noticed something has changed. Your face looks different, puffy, maybe, tired in a way that sleep is not fixing. There is something around your jaw, your midsection, your eyes that was not there 2 years ago, and nobody has connected any of it to the same source. I break down the biology of stress, cortisol, and anxiety in a way that is designed to create clarity, not confusion. So here is what those visible changes are actually telling you. Because cortisol does not just affect how you feel. After months of chronic elevation, it starts leaving marks you can see. And the 7 signs I am about to show you are not random. They are all downstream of the same biological mechanism. So let's get to it. Can you actually see high cortisol on someone's body? Yes, and here is why. Cortisol triggers a cascade of downstream hormonal effects, including changes to fat distribution, collagen production, immune function, hair follicle activity, and inflammatory response that all have visible physical expressions. When cortisol remains chronically elevated for longer than approximately 3 months, these downstream effects begin to compound and show up on the surface. That said, here are 7 signs your body may already be displaying. And the last one is the one nobody talks about. Sign 1. Facial puffiness, especially around the cheeks and jaw. Chronic cortisol elevates aldosterone, the hormone regulating sodium and water retention. Sustained aldosterone elevation causes fluid to accumulate in facial soft tissue, particularly around the cheeks and lower jaw. This is not weight gain, it is cortisol-driven, fluid retention. And it is one of the earliest visible signs because the face has comparatively thin subcutaneous tissue where fluid accumulates quickly. Sign 2. Central weight gain, specifically the lower abdomen. Cortisol activates cortisol receptors in visceral adipose tissue, fat cells clustered around the abdominal organs. These receptors respond to cortisol by increasing fat storage in that specific location, regardless of caloric intake. This is why people with elevated cortisol gain fat specifically around their midsection while their arms and legs remain unchanged. It is a targeted hormonal instruction, not a generalized weight problem. Sign 3. Thinning hair or increased shedding. Cortisol directly disrupts the hair growth cycle by pushing hair follicles from the anagen phase, active growth, into the telogen phase, resting and shedding prematurely. This effect typically appears approximately 3 months after a sustained cortisol elevation event, which is why people often cannot identify a trigger for the hair loss when it begins. The delay creates a diagnostic gap. Research published in Nature shows that stress-elevated glucocorticoids suppress the GA6 signaling molecule that reactivates dormant hair follicles, effectively keeping follicles switched off even when the stress event has passed. Sign 4. Skin changes. Thinning, slow healing, and increased breakouts. Cortisol suppresses collagen synthesis. Less collagen means the skin loses structural integrity. It becomes thinner, more fragile, and slower to heal from minor abrasions. Simultaneously, cortisol stimulates sebaceous glands to increase oil production, particularly along the jawline and chin, which drives the specific adult acne pattern that appears during sustained stress. The combination of thinning skin and increased sebum is a cortisol signature that dermatologists recognize but rarely trace to the adrenal source. Sign 5. Persistent dark circles. Regardless of how much sleep you get, this is the one that consistently surprises people. Dark circles are caused by 2 converging factors: thinning periorbital skin revealing the blood vessels beneath, and localized vasodilation from cortisol's inflammatory effects. The periorbital region, the skin immediately surrounding the eye socket, is the thinnest skin on the human face. Cortisol-driven collagen depletion thins it further. More sleep does not fix this because the cause is structural, not rest-related. Sign 6. Visible tension in the jaw and upper trapezius. Your nervous system in sustained fight or flight holds the masseter, the jaw muscle, and the upper trapezius in chronic partial contraction as a protective brace. Over time, this produces a visibly elevated shoulder line, a squared jaw appearance from masseter hypertrophy, and teeth-grinding patterns that wear the enamel. This is not a posture problem. It is somatic stress, stored in specific muscle groups that your brainstem selected for protective bracing. Sign 7, and this is the one nobody talks about. The look in your eyes. Research on chronic cortisol elevation and sympathetic nervous system dominance consistently identifies a measurable increase in pupil dilation at rest. a reduction in the periorbital soft tissue fullness that gives eyes a relaxed appearance, and a subtly elevated brow position from sustained frontalis muscle tension. People describe it as looking tired even when they have slept, or looking worried when they are not. Your nervous system's sustained state of alert is visible in your facial musculature before any other sign becomes obvious. The eyes are the window to the nervous system, and a chronically activated sympathetic response changes what that window looks like from the outside. So here's what you can do with this information. None of these 7 signs require expensive testing to identify. They are your body communicating a sustained internal state through its surface. How many of the 7 signs do you recognize on your own body right now? Drop your number in the comments. And if there is one you have been trying to fix for years without understanding what was actually causing it, tell me which one. Because that gap between symptom and source is exactly what this channel exists to close. And if 3 or more of these apply to you, I have put together a free cortisol system reset guide that maps specific physiological interventions to each of these downstream effects, not skincare tips, not supplements, actual biological inputs that address the adrenal source. Comment signal, and I'll send it to you. Subscribe now because the next video covers something that connects directly to signs 3 and 4, why cortisol is accelerating the visible aging process at a cellular level, and the specific mechanism in your skin that nobody in either the stress or skincare industries is currently explaining together. The research is from 2023, and it is going to